This shiur is לעילוי נשמת בסנדה בת אמא שלום. Okay, we want to speak today about Pesach, preparing for Pesach. A lot of work and a lot of things to prepare. But before we sing in all the hard job that we have to do, let's try to understand a little bit what is Pesach and what we'll learn from Pesach, and then B'ezrat Hashem, once we understand what it is, it's not going to be so hard just to work and work and work and work and work. So Pesach teaches us a lot of things, but this is based on Rabbi Benjamin Blech. He writes all kinds of articles, and he says something interesting. The Jews are less than less than a quarter percent of the population of the world. And yet, if you think about Nobel Prize winners, we win as a nation, as a minority, so few people, we win more than 1/5 percent of people who win Nobel Prizes. How can we Jews have so much? How can we influence? How much we teach people? It's unbelievable how other people, how other nations look up to us. Again, we're very minority, we're very few, and yet people look at us and learn a lot from us. When you think about Pesach, so usually it's like, who can do so much work? Who can think about all this project ahead of me? But when you understand the concept and why we're celebrating, you will feel so happy. You will feel so proud of yourself, of your nation, of where you're coming from. So, once you have to go, let's say, to college, you study. You know it's a hard thing. Yeah, you have to accomplish. You have to learn. You have to give so much. But once you know that you have a diploma afterwards, so all this hard work after the time, you see, it's not so bad. I passed. I went through. It's fine. So once you know that there's a purpose, hopefully you're going to feel this way also. So, number one, what Pesach teaches us is the remembrance. The importance of memories, of remembrance. So, this rabbi, he gives examples of Gentiles that speak about the Jews, not so much from our own books, Gentiles that speak about this. And it's very interesting. He says, people have to learn from mistakes. People have to learn from the past. And Jews taught the world, what does it mean, history. If I won't learn, let's say my father, he wants to, he created a business, okay? He starts, he makes mistakes, he falls, he gets up again. If I won't learn from his experience and I will fall and make the same mistakes, chaval, it's a shame. We, as a nation, we stand on a giant shoulders. Our parents, our ancestors, and we learn, from whatever they went through. So we know that when people don't have memory, God forbid, I think it's one of the most biggest, tragedies there could be when somebody doesn't remember things. You know that when people become old, sometimes, lo alenu, some of them go through Alzheimer. Alzheimer is when all of a sudden, all kind of pieces of memory is just erased from them. They don't remember. They don't recognize the person that takes care of them. They don't remember who their kids are. They don't remember why they came here, what he's doing here right now, right? And so, when people don't have memory, it's a very sad thing. We as a nation, we have to be so proud of the fact we have such a rich past. And this rich past, this is something that connects us to our present and to the future. And so a lot to learn from our history. Pesach also teaches us the importance of optimism. We as a nation, we were in a deep situation when we were in Egypt, when this Paro, there was this king, this tyrant, he ruled. He decided that he wants to kill babies every day, that he wants to sit in the bath of their blood. He decides who's going to work, who's going to die, who's going to slave, all kind of things that he decides. And we were in slavery for so many years, and yet able to get out of there. So if there is no hope, usually people are lost. Hope is something that keeps people alive. You know, they know that one day they will come out of it. There is a hope. All over the history, people leaned on whatever was in Egypt and knew that even from the darkest moment they could get out, they were able to get out, so will they go out. We were in Russia, right? We came out from Russia. Communism, hardships, didn't let us keep mitzvot, didn't let us keep Judaism. And even though, you know, we knew that one day we will be in Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim was such a holy name, such a holy thing that everybody dreamed that one day they will be in Yerushalayim, they will come out, they will be able to do things. Same was in 60 years ago in Europe, when people were able to survive from the Holocaust. And what kept them? What kept people, you know, through all kind of hardships? The hope that one day it will be better. So we learned a lot. They say that even in the United States, when they formed the country about 200 and something years ago, so Benjamin Franklin, Abraham Lincoln, even later on Martin Luther King, they all looked at Moshe Rabbeinu as an image that inspired them very much. Because of him, they say, if he could do that, we can also go against the British colonies, we can fight, we could rebel, we could do. And they looked at the Bible, at our nation, as their example, you know, that this is the optimism that they got. We learn from Pesach the importance of emunah, of faith. We know that Hashem doesn't say in the Ten Commandments, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, Asher barati shamayim va'aretz. I'm your God that created heaven and earth. No, Hashem said, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, Asher hotzaticha me'eretz Mitzrayim, the one that took you out from Egypt. A lot of people say, so God created the world. But then He's there in heaven, and He doesn't really care about what we do in our everyday life. And Hashem, and we say, no, Hashem is part of our life. Hashem shows us so much love. He cares for each and every one of us. And He is involved with whatever happens to us. And we see it with the story of Pesach. A story of Pesach didn't happen occasionally or accidentally. There is an order for everything. Hashem makes a whole big plan, and everything goes according to order. In Pesach, we say in Leila Seder we have Seder. Well, what is Leila Seder? It's also some kind of an order that we put. We have 15 steps. Last year we spoke about 15 spiritual steps to freedom. You know, so how do we get really to freedom? And that's what was happening in Pesach. In Pesach also we learn the importance of the family. You know, maybe other nations will make it important to go outside to the central squares to make a whole big event. No, we believe in Judaism that if you want to start something or if you believe in something, first is the family. So Leila Seder, everybody sits with their own family. We give a lot of encouragement to little kids. Ask questions. Be part of the Leila Seder. We want them not to sleep. We give them all kind of prizes and stuff so that they will be awake and they will ask questions. That's the idea. Judaism believes in children. Paro didn't want to send the children out of Egypt. He wanted them to stay there, so no Jewish continuity. And Moshe fights with him, says, no, we're going with the kids. And this is what we're doing in Leila Seder. So, children, continuity, this is the seeds. Kids are the seeds of our future. And we give attention to each and every child. And we know that it's important. It teaches us responsibility. It teaches us a lot, Pesach. So basically, once we understand that Pesach is in a way, also the birth of our nation, but also, if you want to think about this, Thanksgiving, if you want to think about this, any whatever you want to say, a lot of miracles, a lot of things. And so there is, let's go to the practical part of the shiur. There are a lot of laws regarding Pesach, and these are the things that we have to go through, a lot of details, and because it's a lot of details, it's good to refresh our memories and to learn these things again and again. So, on Pesach we know that we cannot eat chametz. Chametz is anything that is done from chameshet minei dagan, 5 different kind of grains. We have wheat, we have barley, we have oats, we have rye, and some say buckwheat or spelt. Okay? So, if these materials, these things, were mixed with water and stayed like that, and within 18 minutes altogether, so they say that this becomes chametz because these ingredients has a gluten inside, and this is what makes the dough rise, and this is when it becomes chametz. So anything that's done out of these things becomes chametz. And it says in Pesach that not only we're not allowed to eat chametz, but also bal yara'eh u'val yimatzeh shouldn't be in your house. Bal yimatzeh shouldn't be in your possession. Ve'bal yara'eh you shouldn't see it. Asur sheyeh chametz ba'ayin. Asur, you're not allowed to see chametz in your house. So how do we take care of these things? Once we speak about laws of chametz, we have to understand that the laws of kashrut, of chametz and matzah, they are very severe laws. It's not like other laws of kashrut that we have. Sometimes happens that, let's say there's a big pot of meat, let's say, and by mistake somebody, I don't know, but by mistake spilled a little bit milk on top of it. Okay? Mixed. Now, the question is, does this pot, whatever is inside also, becomes tarif? So, the rabbis say, it depends. It could be batel b'shishim, if there is more than 60 from this little thing of the milk that spilled on it, right? It could be that we will be able to use that thing. In Pesach, we cannot measure and say 1 of 6 years could be okay of chametz. It's not allowed at all. Even in 1 of 1,000, it's not allowed. Therefore, we have to be so careful with chametz. Also, they say with all kind of problems of kashrut, if somebody eats something that's forbidden, something that's not kosher, all kind of problems. So punishment for this is the malkot, lashes. Aval, if somebody eats chametz purposely, the punishment for this is karet. Karet is when the soul is cut off. Very, very severe punishment. If somebody eats purposely on Yom Kippur, it's karet. Okay. If people do not keep family purity, it's karet. Very few laws that we have that are karet. And here is one of these severe things that this is the reason that we have to learn so much about laws of chametz. And so this is something that I explain. Another thing that I want to explain, but maybe I'll do it later, some concepts in laws of chametz. Okay, if I'm here already, I will talk about this. This a concept that's called choser veneor. What does it mean, choser veneor? Let's say before Pesach, and there's a difference, before Pesach. So if there is a mixing, okay, of something that's for Pesach, and a little bit chametz came on it. So some people say that because it's before Pesach, it's not such a problem like it is during Pesach. The Shulchan Aruch says that chametz shebatel lifnei Pesach eno chozer veneor, meaning if I cooked this pot, this food that's in this pot before Pesach, and it has some kind of a question about, I remember a while ago, there was a question about cumin. So some rabbis said that cumin is okay, some rabbis said that cumin is not okay. But if it was clean and it was checked, and you cooked all this food before Pesach, so during Pesach it's not a problem to use it. But if you do it before, during Pesach and you know that there is a problem, let's say with this cumin, so we don't usually use it anymore. So this is the choser veneor. Also, there are some drinks that contain chametz, and we have to be careful. The chametz, we're not allowed to use them on Pesach. Beer, whiskey, some vodka, some energy drinks that are from chametz, and we have to be careful. We're not allowed to use them at all. This is regarding chametz. I would like to go to cleaning the house right now. So we know that cleaning the house, you have to be prepared, you have to be ready. It's a lot of work, okay? And it's good that you're going to be organized. Organized, I mean, nothing is going to happen, and I also do it, and it's so important to sit and make a table to yourself. So which day I accomplish what. So you know that the last week of Pesach, the last week before Pesach, you have to do the hardest thing. You want to clean the stove, you want to clean the sink, or the whole kitchen, the counters, okay? And sometime before that, you would like to clean your refrigerator, your dining room, because this is where you eat, the tables, the chairs, and so in the beginning, you start with the bedrooms, with the things that are not so dirty. You start with them, and slowly coming towards your kitchen. It's important to clean the house, but the idea is not to do spring cleaning. If you have the time, you have a cleaning lady, go ahead. Why not? Every woman likes her house to be clean for Pesach. It's very good. But if you don't have the time, and you put a lot of energy in the beginning, in cleaning the bedrooms and organizing and sifting and deciding what you keep, and then you won't have time and energy for the kitchen, so we lost it. You need to keep most of the energy to clean your kitchen, because this is where most of the chametz is, and this is where we cook, and this is where we prepare our food, and this has to be the most important thing, okay? So you start with the rooms. Paying attention to dirty clothing, you have to launder them. If you have stains, and you feel the dirt on them also, not only stains, so it's better to clean them. You have to clean them before Pesach. Otherwise, if you really can't and you won't have the time, anything you don't want to use during Pesach, you can sell. So start with clothing. Pockets, pay attention to pockets. Kids, they put all kind of things in their pants, and maybe you put all kind of things in your coat, or in your jackets, in your blazers, whatever. Right? Pay attention to stuff like that. Then we go slowly. After we finish all the classes, you go slowly, you come towards your main thing. First is let's say the living room, and then you finish with the living room, you come there, you clean some of your books, you come and then slowly you come to your dining room and to your kitchen. Pay attention to the place where people sit next to the computer. Sometimes they sit and eat something there, right? You have to clean the computer very well, you know. The dining room, right? So the dining room, you clean the cabinets, whatever is there, the chairs and the table. So tables usually, if you keep them not covered, and you usually eat on these tables, you clean it very well, paying attention also to the legs of the table. After you clean it very well, you pour boiled water, and this is how you clean your table. If you can't pour boiled water because it's very sensitive, or it's always covered, so you just change the covers. After you clean the table, you just change the covers. You don't have to pour boiled water on it. If in the dining room you have a table that you use it, you put hot cups of tea or food you serve to your guests, so you have to pour boiled water or cover it for Pesach, even though during the year you don't do it. Chairs you have to clean because there's a lot of crumbs in between the cushions of the chair, so clean it very well. If you have plastic covers, so of course take it out, clean it very well. Sometimes you cannot really go through the how you call it?
The lining over
there. The lining over there of the zeh. So as much as you can, or clean it, put some detergent, put some soapy water, so if there is even chametz over there, it will be spoiled with this soapy water. And this is how you clean your chairs. Of course, pay attention to the legs of the chair. If you know, it can get dirty. Some chairs have a lot of design in them. You have to go through, because when people, let's say, you want to, let's say, sift flour, bake cake, do your gosh geja, or you open all your doughs, your challah or whatever, you know, all these things, you know, you have a air conditioner working, and sometimes, you know, it just goes all over. So you'll have to wipe everything, make sure it's clean.
What about tablecloth?
Tablecloth, usually it's enough to put them in the laundry, wash them with hot water. It says shiyat soledet, meaning that as you touch it, it's very, very hot. And you put it on, or you change it if you have a different one for Pesach, and then you can put a table cover, a plastic something on top of it, and that's enough usually. That's about the table. Now we want to go to the kitchen. I'll start with the dishes themselves, and then we'll go to all kind of things. How do you clean them for Pesach? So, as we start with dishes, they always say, all the rabbis, every place that I read, it's better, it's the best to have special dishes for Pesach. And today, Baruch Hashem, people have so much stuff. People buy so many things. You know, it's not, and people, they like to have the best, the nice stuff for Pesach also. And so you buy, once you invest, you buy things for Pesach, and you will have it from year to year. So you don't have every time the question is, how can I kosher this, how can I kosher that? Because they say, the rabbi, there are ways to kosher certain things, but it's better not to. They always say, it's better not to. So we'll talk about how we kosher things. Number one rule in koshering things, if you want to kosher something, you don't use it for the last 24 hours. Okay? You don't use it at all. And then once you want to kosher it and you waited 24 hours, okay, so certain things, this is how you clean them. There is another rule that we call it kebol'o kach polto. The same way that this dish, that this pot, that this thing swallowed the chametz, kebolo, the same way it swallowed it, kach polto. This is how you're going to remove it, take it out from there. Meaning, for example, if, for example, the refrigerator, you use only with cold, so you kosher it with cold. You don't have to pour boiled water on the refrigerator, right? If you use a pot, usually with hot water, with boiling water, so this is how you will need to clean it, with boiling water. So, number one, 24 hours to wait for anything that you want to kosher. Number two, kebolo kachpoto, the same way that you use it, same way you're going to kosher it. Some things we're able to kosher for Pesach, some things we're not able to kosher for Pesach, okay? Another concept that we have to understand, there's something that's called hagala. Hagala is when we dip it or rinse it with boiling water, okay? This is hagala. Another way of cleaning is libun. Libun would be, you heat it, usually it's metals and stuff, you heat it so much until it becomes red. This is libun. Okay, so there's sometimes we need to do hagala, sometimes we need to do libun. Back in Russia, people used to have huge pots where they would make hagala, not necessarily to use for Pesach, many times just to clean it and to store it away, not to use it. Because back in Russia, they also had special dishes for Pesach, usually the nicest one they would keep for Pesach. So today, when you want to store it away, you have to clean it very, very well and to store it. So if people don't have time, so they could sell their chametz. This is as a chametz. Usually, it's not a good idea to sell the dishes to the goy, because then in a way you have to make a mikveh again afterwards. But so we usually sell the chametz shabalua, that is inside this dish, this pot. So,
but isn't that implied in the contract? Because we do close it in the
Chametz closet.
Chametz closet, right?
Right.
But you just in the contract you imply that you only.
I think it says. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the chametz are not
all the chametz are inside the dishes. So, but try to clean them. And so let's start to talk about how do we make hagala. Let's say you have a pot that you usually cook there macaroni, spaghetti. And then you have another pot that you usually, this pot you'll do the meatballs, let's say. What do you put inside meatballs?
Bread.
Also bread, right?
The cutlet,
yeah,
not the meat.
Yeah. So it's not only meat, it has chametz inside also. So all these pots that we use during the year, okay, that they are chametz, if somebody needs to use them for Pesach, first of all, not to use 24 hours. Number two, clean so well until it's sparkling, and there's all kind of detergents out there that you can use. Pay attention to the handles, clean around, the
has a name.
screwdrivers, screws over there. Pay attention, of course, to the cover, to underneath, everywhere. You have to clean very well. And after you clean everywhere, you have to have a special pot, bigger pot, that is designated only for koshering things, and you make sure that it's bubbling water, and it has to be constantly bubbling. It cannot be bubbled and stopped. Has to be very, very hot, and you put these pots inside. So would be with, let's say, silverware, spoons, knives, whatever, right? This is how we usually make a gala, and afterwards we put in cold water and we're fine. Libun is more than that. Libun we do for things that are, I told you, libun is heated until it becomes red. We usually use with skillets, skewers, that we put it on top of fire. And usually also with not so much sauce necessarily, okay? And so you have to clean it very well and everything. and then heat it so much until it becomes. Usually we don't. I told you it's a waste of time to do it because nowadays the dishes that we have are not so strong like they used to make a while ago, and it ruins things. So even the stove or the tripods, you try to scratch it a little bit, and it's not like it used to be. So you leave them aside. All the equipment that you have for grills and barbecues and everything. And if you want, you can have a new for Pesach.
Do you have to put them in the mikveh after you do the yagala? Or no?
No.
Rinse it with cold water.
Okay. Then we have, so metals is the same, whatever I just mentioned before. Glass. Whatever is made from glass. Some say that, let's say you cook in this glass pot, so you cannot really kosher them. But Rabbanit Yosef in his book say that it's okay after it's cleaned and everything, after you wash it and then you make a galah 3 times, it's okay to use glass things. Whatever is used in cold, you can just wash in cold and that's fine also. But again, I'm telling you, have different things for Pesach. Many times you use small glasses, runki, for drinking alcohol, whiskey. Whiskey is not kosher for Pesach, and so you don't kosher those for Pesach. Whatever is made.
But doesn't a glass absorb the chametz?
So some say that if it's a glass that people drink whiskey, they shouldn't make it kosher for Pesach. That's what I say.
What if they don't?
If it's just for cold, I told you, there's a way to clean it with just cold. But again, every time that they say there's a way to kosher it, they say, have new ones for Pesach. So it will come again and again. Teflon is no way of koshering it for Pesach. Teflon. China or clay, or the Chinik that we have and all this, no way of koshering for Pesach, because China you can never kosher. You should have new ones for Pesach. This is regarding dishes. And now I want to explain about how to clean certain utilities, the house or whatever. So we come to the kitchen already. First, let's say you clean the refrigerator. The refrigerator, as we say, it's used with cold, so we clean with cold. Take it out from the electricity. Empty it from all the contents that you have inside. Take out whatever you can separate, you can depart, take out from the refrigerator, take it out, the shelves, whatever opens, whatever you can take out, clean very well, wash it very well, pay attention to the rubbers that sometimes surrounding the shelves or the door of the refrigerator. Always you will see the breadcrumbs, something, you have to clean it so well, sometimes with a toothbrush, sometimes with, I don't know, something like even a toothpick, yeah, clean very well all the little details. And after you clean the shelves, after you've cleaned everything, you rinsed again, you see that it's sparkling and it's good. This is when you put back the things inside, you cover it, okay? You cover them. And now, if you're planning to put chametz again inside the...
You cover with what?
You can cover with paper, you can cover with foil, doesn't matter. If you're planning to put chametz inside, make sure you're going to have only one section where there is going to be chametz, and put it into a plastic bag. Make sure. Sometimes people don't pay attention. Kids eat breakfast. So you have cream cheese and you have, I don't know, either it's bagels or just bread. They want to take some cream cheese and put it back into the refrigerator. So some breadcrumbs are already inside and if they don't pay attention, they can dirty it again. Be on top of it. Make sure. Make an older, sibling in the house to be in charge or something. So, because if not, you'll have to clean it all over. Okay, so make sure it's in one section of the not everything, and put it in plastic bags. You can sometimes put double covers in case you want to put chametz, and once this chametz is gone, you just take off this cover, and one cover is left in the refrigerator.
I have a question.
Okay.
If I wash the fridge at least sometimes a week and a half before. I wash it well, I take all the pieces out. I cover it. And then 2 days before, I go over it again. Do I have to do again a thorough?
So again, if you put it in certain sections, it will make it much easier. Let's say the upper there will be just for chametz, and then one
still, it's still somehow, you know, the doors, the milk, the juice.
As that, yeah, you have to go over again, you know, the handles, because people touch, people open. You work also in the kitchen. You open the refrigerator. You need a tomato. You need something. You know, right? So you have.
Can I just wipe and then change the cup, the paper?
Yeah, you'll have to do that.
That's
okay. So that's regarding refrigerator. Of course, pay attention to the top refrigerator. You clean also on top. If you have the freezer, okay, you have to clean the freezer also. Try not to put chametz inside. You know, try not to put breads again inside. Try to use them as much as you can, so you don't really have to put real chametz back inside the refrigerator. Okay. Next we have the oven.
okay. 1 second. If we have, I remember one of the years I had borekas though, something.
Where? In the refrigerator?
In the
freezer.
freezer.
Okay.
Can I sell it with my chametz stuff?
You have a whole section. You have a whole freezer that is chametz.
Yeah, the chametz I will put downstairs in the basement, in the fridge, in the freezer.
But you don't have chametz, Pesach stuff in there, right? Just chametz?
It's chametz.
If it's just chametz, you're allowed to sell it with the chametz stuff. It's like you have a cabinet that's full of chametz and you sell it too. So
Okay.
it doesn't matter if it's frozen or not.
Okay, so that's
But
downstairs.
try not to leave open boxes. Whatever you have open, you just try to finish them before Pesach. Just let's say you have a whole box that nobody used it.